Hey there. Wanted to go over a little bit of my editing process. And the reason for wanting to do this is there's a little educational work that goes into a video like this. And I know that my everyday clients, they don't really care necessarily how I put my photos together, but in this day and age when we have cell phones that can take pictures all day long, and people are out there snapping photos every which way on all occasions for a variety of reasons. This works in a lot of scenarios, but then why are there still professional photographers? Why am I out there trying to turn photography into an income? Doesn't that seem a little foolish? Aren't I kind of late in the game? Well, the reality is I don't think so. So I thought I would go through a photo, and I've selected one here from last year, autumn, and lovely lady came in with her family, a couple of kids, a couple little girls, and her husband wanted their family portraits taken. And during the process, we went in and we snapped a portrait of just her. And it's a photo that I've worked on numerous times, but I thought I'd go in today and run through a speed edit on this. So I recorded it and then I plowed through it high speed to just kind of show what goes into creating a photograph on the back end. Now, what I'm going to do is go in, we'll show the image that I've created, and then I'll go in and I'll show the image that it was taken from, and then we'll get into the speed edits. Now, I've already done the speed editing, so here recording, I'm just going to be watching the speed edit and kind of talking about my process. Again, this doesn't need to be high level, crunchy technical kind of stuff, but give you a general idea of what my thought process and my editing process is as I'm going in and creating these photographs. So let's jump into it. I'm going to start off the video here and we'll take a little bit of time to review the photo that was created, the photo that it was derived from, and then get right into those speed edits. So here we go. And here's where we have the photo that it was derived from, and then launching right into these speed edits. So not a whole lot of time here for me to discuss what's going on, but general premise is that I'm going in right now and I'm doing essentially what is considered blemish cleanup. First pass, basically just high level edit, making sure that any discolorations on the face, any lighting issues, texture on the skin, and flyaway hairs is removed out. Again, basically just getting rid of flyaways, right? Any loose hairs that are floating away in the wind. And since we do a lot of outdoor photography, that's something that I have to contend with in editing, because no matter what you do, especially ladies, longer hair, gentlemen, longer hair, you're gonna have something flying away. It's gonna cross your face, cross your eyes, get in your mouth a little bit, fly way up here and be completely noticeable against backgrounds. And those are things that we go in and we clean up. So I'm about to launch back into the editing process here. And on the next section, we're gonna go into what is called frequency separation. Quite a technical term, but essentially it's the second pass on blemish cleanups, cleaning up skin texture a little bit. When it comes to skin texture, lighting is crucial. How you light it will determine not only where shadows and highlights form on the face, but it'll also reveal texture. And when we look at people in a natural light, we don't generally notice these things. And so if they're in a photograph, they can be quite distracting. And so we go in and we remove those guys. All right, so let's jump in. We're gonna do a little frequency separation, and then we'll jump into the next step of the process, which is starting to modify the light a little bit. All right, so right off the bat, jumped right in, got right underneath those eye bags. Essentially everybody has these things. I got some pretty good ones right here, and they just darken up the skin. They often capture a lot of light and draw the light away from the eyes. So we brighten that up because again, it's just one of those things that we generally don't notice when we're talking to people in person. And then generally just doing some dodging and burning, brightening up the face in different places. I do a little coloring on the lips here, and then retouching the eyes a little bit because again, those things absorb a lot of light, especially if you are a brown-eyed individual like myself. Blue eyes pop a lot more, but brown eyes and dark green eyes usually need a little bit of enhancements. Blue, usually a lot less. This is key for just making sure that the eyes really look like there's life in them. The other thing that you'll notice in the photo is basically catch lights. So just a bright spot in the eye so that it's not a dull black or a really dark brown. And that's important for just, again, making sure that the image feels like it has a lot of life in it. That begins at the photography phase when we're out there on set, snapping pictures away, but it can be enhanced slightly in editing. It's something that has to be done very subtly. All right. Next phase of this is we're going to jump in and we're going to start to put in some styling. This is where my personal touch comes in, a little bit color grading, modifying the light again a little bit to enhance the image overall and kind of pull all the colors together and all the shades and hues together in a fashion that I find appealing to the eye, and presumably my clients do as well. All right, so it might be a little bit hard to tell exactly what's going on here. I'm throwing on a bunch of different layers and kind of, again, pulling those colors around. So right here, touching up around those leaves because I didn't want the red to be quite so strong. Although a beautiful color, it was drawing away from the face a little bit. I wanted to dial that in a little bit to kind of match the scene. Also making sure that the color alterations I'm doing don't affect skin tone too overly much. All right. So our skin tone's very important, what coloring this is on a human face. If I start getting into the blues, into the greens, these kind of things can be very unappealing for a photograph. So making sure that skin tones are warm, vibrant, but not overpowering also. And essentially going in and just making sure that those adjustments are very, very subtle around the face. And everything I try and do is to accentuate and enhance, but certainly never to overpower. And then in the next phase, these are, again, going a little bit deeper into those subtle adjustments for lighting, coloring, kind of a final layer here of putting my personal touch on the image. So the first thing you'll see is that I go in and I'm enhancing the sunlight a little bit up here around her, the back of her head, getting it to shine through those leaves a little bit more. Again, very, very subtle. Kind of wanted a little bit of a hazy summer feel to it. Even though that this was autumn, it was getting towards that golden hour. Just kind of wanted to enhance that a little bit. And now going in and just making sure that, again, that doesn't affect the hair color too overly much. Although there are instances where sunlight can alter the colorations with a lot of haze. That's not what this image needed. So I wanted to keep her hair color and her skin color all very natural. And this will be bringing us to the end of the edit. Very quick process here when we run this thing at like 2000% speed. Really, I put in maybe about a half an hour, 40 minutes on the photo total. Boiled this thing down to maybe just a couple minutes overall for the editing process. And just kind of get those final touches in there, a little vignette, very, very subtle. And then we'll go in and just kind of review quickly what the image looked like originally, or rather the final image. Reviewing again briefly what it looked like before, a quick transition, and then fading back to what was created. So thank you for coming in and watching this video. It's really important that photographers are going in and spending the time on images. no matter how good of a photographer you are, no matter how much makeup somebody is wearing, there's always going to be an instance where a photo needs some slight adjustments. Now, on this one, I thought the lighting was great. At this point in the photo shoot, I had swapped over to a natural light photography, although I typically do a lot of off-camera flash, blending that artificial light with the natural light. I especially like doing that with a backlit sun, but the lighting here in this instance was very soft and beautiful for this subject, and really just wanted to go in and enhance all that, show you guys what exactly it is that I do here. So I appreciate you tuning in, and as you can tell, I think there is a place for photographers in this world today, even as technology for cell phones enhances and we get these new options and filters. Those things are still in their infancy to some degree, and there's a lot of room for photographers to be going in and providing high quality products that the everyday person out there with a cell phone can't reproduce. It takes a lot of time, a lot of learning to be able to get to this place, and I'm very thankful for the fact that I had a lot of great photographers on YouTube putting together tutorials for us. I went in and I spent the first couple of years of photography learning how to not only read light, modify light, also going into edit photos. So a lot of effort goes into this, and it is such a fun process. I really enjoy getting out and communicating with customers, but I also really enjoy getting in here on the technical side and playing around with colors and lighting. It's really fun to watch a photo develop as I go in and tune and adjust. So I appreciate it. Thank you guys. I don't think I said this at the beginning, but Nathan here, Dream Anchor Photography. Just wanted to run you through a quick speed edit. Really appreciate everybody dialing in. You guys have a great day. Take care.